Hello, everyone, my fans, everybody. Happy Mother's Day. Wish mothers in the world are enjoying today. It costs a lot and effort to raise your children, there's no question about that. Just want to really recognize that. As you can see, the graph in the front of you, it's just Dow Jones. It was actually having a really downward pressure for 5 days perspective and overall in a month as well. And it's just due to the banking potential crisis and also the Disney not reporting very well as they are very disappointing reporting about the streaming business. So for those of you who hear my video before I talk about the Disney when they were talking about the pandemic and introducing Mulan and all this good stuff, but then unfortunately when I'm watching their subscribing paid TV shows and series and dramas and especially things for children. I'm very disappointed myself too. There's a lot that seems to be very repeated and redundancy old TV series out there that haven't been uplifted to the full potential. They definitely need to focus on the improvement. However, I'm looking summer is coming up, so the theme park should have more people as we walk out of the pandemic. So the stock market rally continued trades tightly with mixed action that looked weaker by Friday's close. First, I want to make sure that you know earnings work again. Again, every single quarter, company reporting earnings, and for those that were performing well, were rewarded. Apple announced better than expected earnings due to good iPhone sales in India, which drove Nasdaq higher. Yields ran up as bond market saw off following the stronger than expected U.S. job market for April. The tech concentrated Nasdaq Composite jumps as the consumer price index CPI for April also stronger expectation. So thinking the Fed may pause potential there's one more quarter of rate hikes, but really at the beginning of the journey, I say it's about 5%. Now we have 5%. So I think we should be ending maybe one more quarter and that's it. I mean, that's really have a huge consequences for those that people arguing that the raising interest rate is really working. Otherwise, inflation was worse. Or there's a lot of people, leaning to you really need to stop because it's really destroying the startup business and the economy. So it really depends how you look at it. CPI increased at 4.9% annually, the lowest since May 2021. The April PPI rose just 0.2% below expectation for 0.3% rise. So that's kind of give you some idea why the market have been doing the metric, especially the last piece of it. I'll go into the graph in more detail next. So again, Disney wasn't performed well. The stock fell about 6%. Alphabet, on the other hand, stock over 10% last week after company made several artificial intelligence announcement as an I/O developer conference. Again, there's still a lot to look into that space and see how can you really lead to more profitability. But a lot of time because these big techs are a lot in the position continue to grow what they have, but then they just have the more innovative to take in of the research and development costs to develop something that potentially can help better and drive their bottom line. Tesla fell 1.2% to $167.98. Nasdaq continued to trade around 21-day moving average. On Friday, shares opened strong but reversed lower from near the 50-day moving average. Again, this stock have been 125 while you've gone up to $202. So I profit quite a bit on that. I sell half of it and then it slipped. I bought back and then now I'm waiting to hit $200 and that's going to be the point I'm going to walk. I still think airlines stock are good to be part of the portfolio where pandemic is over. Again, airline stock seems to be up and down, but then summer people can travel, summer season. Same thing with oil stock. A lot of thinking picking up the demand of gasoline, and you're actually seeing the gasoline prices have kind of changing. I mean, depending on what the news on OPEC too, it has some sort of impact. This robot is still trading in a range of $36 to $43, and opportunity for 10% profit short term. And then there's a stock really always like to talk about, which is Helion. You look at this stock, it's very interesting, right? The stock have tended to $1.30, and I told people that's time to come back up to $2, and you did. and then of course it come back down being up at $2, and then you can see the pattern and kind of tricks is keep doing it. They sell every single quarter when this stock have been doing it like a yo-yo ball. But for 1 year target, however, it was $4.70. So I still think this stock potential will get into $4 eventually, and in 2025 it's still going to be opportunity for that. This bounce back, there's a number of reasons. We better expect loss announcement. Helium remains on schedule. Hypertruck ERX system development commercialization work, including kick off extended fleet trials late in second quarter. We're still waiting on the technology breakthrough, however, and see the partnership, how that really get benefit from it. We haven't even seen that much the partnership announcement that announced probably a year ago and kick off, and still haven't really getting the result yet at this point. As the company survived in the credit crunch and difficult time due to COVID, you still have a short-term trending pattern and long-term looking view. I still recommend the same strategy for those who bought $1.50. You may consider decreased position. So again, $1.80, $2 would be a good exit point. That's 10%, 20%, depending on where you bought it, and then you look for opportunity when it's coming back. But for those, especially who bought around $2 more, you may also look at watch for the opportunity to really dilute your position, so then it will give you more lower weighted average for the stock to perform well in 2024. Bed Bath & Beyond, unfortunately, I lost the bet again. For those who listen to my previous video, I told you that this is more like a gamble, and you go to casino, either you win or you lose. So in this case, didn't really do well like AMC for the time to have the mimic stock to come back. But this one is a last bankruptcy for those who didn't pay attention to the news. So they pretty much really at this point considered done deal. The job market remains strong. U.S. government budgets 31.4 trillion borrowing limit in January, could run out of cash by June. So that's really one of the concerns of the debt ceiling discussion. But for those of you who have been looking at U.S. politics for years, you always know that for the last few wonder we always say, okay, well, they use their bargaining chips between Democrat and Republican, and you're always going to happen. So I'm not too concerned, worried about it. And then so the bad news more driven by this in the market driving down is the opportunity for you to buy. Then when the news come out, okay, ceiling no big deal, then yes, we're going to be rebound the market in the macro factors. And I also want to share the graph with you last year, how the index performing before I move to anything else to talk about, what you should be doing. So just to give you the idea, this is the last step for 2022 graph. And you really, from my April high points at the beginning of the year, it was 14,000 plus. And at the end of May, which is you look at the end of May, and then June, and you really it's really gone down by 16%. Okay, so something to think about it is always the people saying, when you're in the month of May, you want to sell your stock, right? But this is a different scenario in 2023, which is quite interesting because you look at the market, once in April, it actually, if you look at a trend perspective, up to 13 where we at is really down. Then basically it does go back up the following week, which is rebound where we are the following week, next week, this coming week. And then after that, it will come down the week after at the last week of May. And then June will come back up a little bit. Then, and obviously it wasn't perform well. But then if you look at the this year performances, right, really at the point of 12,200 for those listening to my video, knowing that I'm saying when earnings season, you will do the magic and potential will break the point, it will be 5% higher. But you cannot go really higher than that because from a trend perspective, you have dropped and you got a rebound. And you can clearly see, this is days, so it wasn't really giving you a very good picture, but you see a sharp rebound due to the news or profit reporting from the corporate big high-tech company. So you see this steeping V-shape and 3 times in a month. It's really interesting, going to forecast what's going to happen, but I think we already announcing a lot of high-tech strong, and they really have lifted a lot, like Google gone up 10%. So potentially we'll be looking at this graph that will kind of maybe flag a little bit till there's some other news to stimulate the economy. On the next one, same thing, S&P 500 is also dropping 10% from 4,600 in the beginning of April, just to give you the idea. And then compared to the end of May, it's really down for the 4,100, like 10% drop. Why this is so important, the trend, you just kind of give you the idea, how is May going to be look like this year? But of course, from the pattern perspective, it's a little different. If you remember what's going on in the last year, it's really yet that the market was very strong still at the first quarter of 2022. And that's the time where April and May kind of set back, where we set the stage, and even with earnings still pretty, some company reporting very well, and it's still not helping because they say, well, P ratio too high. Now the market has been really, compared to 2021, have been solidly strong, too strong, and gone up too much, right? So and also the cash and the cryptocurrency, all these new and so on. So then you can look at this year, maybe it will play a little bit different. And in the S&P and S&P 500, it's very interesting that you look at the indexes go up and down, and very interesting that because it's a mix of company earning that some were making, some were made, and some are not making it. But again, just want to show you, to give you the idea, this have potential maybe 5%, up and down, and then Nasdaq. Maybe continue to grow up. They depend on all the big companies, Tesla, Apple, and how they will perform. Say, and one of the Meta is very interesting. If you look at the Meta stock, which is have gone back up quite a bit, in almost close to 52 weeks high from the time where they say they lost a lot of advertisement. Okay. And overall, right now, it's debt ceiling, inflation, Fed rate hikes, and the global demand will be what affecting the market. And what you should be focused on, you prepare for the next powerful trend. Have your watch list ready so that you know when you're going to do it if the market is going to depressing and going back down. And apparently, the start about helium, which have opportunity for short-term trade, XPEV, if you also look at it, it was started as low as $7.80. It's jumped back up to $10.50. So EV stock is still have quite a bit of variability, and also Chinese stock still a very quick rate of variability. If you look at Pinduoduo PDD, it was up to $102 to down to $70. But then, if the good news coming up and driving the market again, 520 is coming, which is I love you in Chinese. You may driving some more sales with Pinduoduo reporting and have some sales promotions, which could be driving the stock have some uptrend and uptake. Hope you like my video. Again, any questions, feel free to send me email. Have a wonderful Mother's Day again, and happy weekend.